What's up guys, Thijs here with another video from the home studio back home in Holland. Just for a short moment, soon I'll be traveling again. Actually very soon, like 2 weeks from now I'll be going to Australia. How awesome is that? So anyways, in this little short period that I'm back home, I am making a few topical videos about travel, bicycle touring, the thing that I've been doing. If you don't know me, I just came back from a 3-month trip through Europe. In total I've done 2 of those, exactly the same amount of days, also 3 months. First trip was through 8 countries: Holland, Germany, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, back into Sweden, Finland, Estonia and Latvia, which was last year in autumn slash almost winter. It was cold. This year I did it better. I started in June to the end of August. I started again in Latvia, so Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Ukraine, Slovakia, back into Poland, and the Czech Republic, 6 countries. So yeah, in this video I want to talk about how I did that, basically. How was I able to travel for such a pretty long period of time with the little money that I had? So in this video I'm going to give you 8 tips on how to save money while you're traveling. I did it in a pretty different way than most people travel. Most people, they travel by plane and then use taxis, Ubers, public transportations to get where they want to go. But yeah, I did it totally differently on a bike, basically. That's tip number 8, but that's coming soon. So let's actually start at the start. All these tips, they go for everyone, basically. Everyone that wants to travel, thinks about traveling, is already traveling. These tips will help you save money if you don't know them already. So the first one, and this is a big one, budget is everything. So sometimes, you know, you have this feeling that you don't really know how much you're spending, you're not really sure how idea. You go to a restaurant here, there, all the time. You go to Starbucks every day. Those costs can rack up. I think last month I spent about 60 euros on coffee alone. That's a lot of money I can save for like a pretty awesome attraction on a certain day. Maybe even like a train ticket or something like that, you know? So if you set yourself a limit, like I want to spend X amount of money on coffee this month. For example, I want to spend like max 40 euros on coffee this month. You can budget yourself, and it also puts yourself in the mindset of always remembering like, okay, this is what I set, how far am I in, so how much can I spend on it? Now it's pretty hard to get the exact numbers on how you want to budget, because a budget is different for anyone. Like some people, they have the money or they want the luxury to spend a little more on things like coffee or better accommodation like a hotel or something like that. And some people are just really like bare bones down. I would consider myself towards the lower end, so I'll give you some numbers actually from my last 3-month tour, on which I spent an average of about 900 euros per month. So in June I spent 890, in July 962, and in August 1066. Which is in euros. So I try to be around the 1,000 mark, maybe a little bit less. I know people that do like their budget is maybe like 200 euros per month. But yeah, it really also depends on your own like comfort level and that sort of stuff. But I think that if you're aware of what you're spending, you have a budget and you want to stick to it, then I think it really will help you to become more aware of how you spend your money. So tip number 2 is track your expenses. Now I know that for you guys in America, like I'm from Europe, I'm from Holland, the credit card culture is not so big here. I do have a credit card, but the thing is, I have the credit card from the same bank as my debit card, and my bank has this app so you can see exactly how much money you have on your bank account. Plus, I can also check how much I owe the bank on my credit card, like in an instant. Like it's right there. I can just see that. I try to check in every single day just to check my expenses, and I think that's a really good habit to implement, that you check daily how much you're spending and how much money you still have. So yeah, if your bank has those apps or a website that you can check your bank account, download the app, go to the website, save the website in your favorites. There are more things you can do. You can take like a budgeting app that tracks your expenses, and you can even set a budget in that app, and the app will notify you, for example, when you go or when you're close to the limit of your budget. I think mint.com is a good one for people in the US and Canada. The app Wallet I have used before. I'm not using it at the moment, but I think that for some people it will work, for others it doesn't. It really, like, it's personal preference, really. Like just experiment with them, like experiment with different apps. I personally do pretty much everything manually. I track pretty much every expense. Of course, cash withdrawals and cash expenses is a little bit hard. So I like to just note the cash withdrawals as well as, you know, credit card payments and debit card, anything of that. I also have a list of all my monthly and yearly expenses, so I can exactly see how much I'm spending each year, each month, etc. The third app is more travel related. The first two are really like, I think in general, you know, when you want to save money, I think those two tips will work out. The third tip is travel related, which is use the sharing economy. And what do I mean with that? Is you got this new rise coming up of just normal people that rent out their home or anything for like a really low price. You can think of services like Airbnb or free applications like Couchsurfing, or for bicycle tourists, Warm Showers. Great apps. Now again, it's your comfort level. So on Airbnb you got like the low end to the high end, but it's all paid. Couchsurfing is like completely free, so that's like really like going for that experience. I've tried Couchsurfing. It's pretty hard because you have to do some more work. You know, you have to contact a lot of people before you get someone to accept you, because people can be traveling themselves or they already have Couchsurfers at their house. Especially in big cities, it can be really, really tough to find a Couchsurfer. So if you ever find yourself on the countryside, again, bicycle touring, you can get yourself to places where maybe there's one or two Couchsurfers that are willing to accept you, and that can really help. But yeah, again, Airbnb is also great. I think I use Airbnb probably the most. And if I cannot find a good deal on Airbnb, I check Booking.com. I don't use any other apps. Booking.com is the third option that I use when I want to get like a pension, hotel, even a hostel, something like that. The fourth tip is cook your own food while traveling. This can also be a huge money saver. It's really, really easy to get easy food for incredibly cheap. Even good food. I'm trying to become better at cooking myself. I've got a little camp stove. Of course, when bicycle touring, you can take some extra luggage with you, so I have a little cook stove when I'm camping out. And yeah, to be honest, it is a little bit more work again, but yeah, you can make really, really amazing meals for not a lot of money. I've been making pancakes, omelets, and yeah, I think that omelets as well as like beans or rice, that sort of stuff. Of course, if you do it every night, like it can get a bit tedious and you might not want to like eat the same thing over and over again. I've heard stories of people like eating cabbage each night, like the same thing, because you know they're on such a budget. But no, you can vary that with eating out into a restaurant every now and then, but don't do that like every night, because then the expenses can go up really, really high. So yeah, cook your own food, big one. The fifth tip, go to cheap places. Now it's shocking, really. It's really, really shocking. Like my first bicycle tour I did in Scandinavia. The difference between my expenses for like groceries on the first trip and the second trip, I think the second trip I bought basically the same things, but I paid maybe like 3 times less because I was cycling in Eastern Europe instead of Northern Europe. The difference can be absolutely huge. Now some cheap hotspots are Eastern Europe, especially Ukraine. You can get into a hostel there for like, I was once in a hostel there for €4 a night, and it was a good hostel. Like the internet was good, it was a pretty nice hostel, but yeah, €4 a night, you can't beat that. Other hotspots are Southeast Asia, and I think also South America can also be very cheap. Alright, tip number 6, go the extra mile. And what I mean by this is, you know, don't settle for something that you really don't want. So for example, you go out, you want to eat something, but you know you want to eat something cheap. And you get to this restaurant, you sit down, you open the menu, and you're like, that is so expensive. But you don't want to leave because you don't want to be like insulting or something like that. Guys, just leave, really. Like if you don't feel comfortable, you're gonna regret it. You're really gonna regret it. And I know the feeling of regret. I don't like it. So just go to the waiter, say it's not for my budget. They'll probably say, okay, we understand. Just go to the next spot. Really, like do that. Also, when you go in for like food markets, something like that, just first make around, like look at the different places, look at the different prices, and then afterwards you can go back, go to the places that you want to go to and find the good deals. This doesn't only go for food, it's also accommodation, even flight tickets. Like look in advance, look on there are certain days where flight tickets are so much cheaper. For example, in the weekends they tend to be really expensive, But if you go like on a midweek day, like Wednesday or Thursday, you can save so much money. Also, when you're around tourist attractions, maybe it's good to not go for the tourist way, but maybe try to investigate a little bit, see if there are any like more things around that are cheaper and maybe get you a better experience. For example, I went to these salt mines in Poland with my parents. We went for the main tourist guide tour. Loads of people. To be honest, the tour was not great. Our tour guide was actually really bad. Didn't know a whole lot of English. Afterwards, I went to my hostel and I met up with a girl from Singapore who went the extra mile. She did the main tour as well, but afterwards there was this little other tour which was a little bit more expensive. But she got such a good experience out of that because she had to put this mining clothes on. She went mining herself. She showed me some pictures. And it looked so much better because there were so less people. She was in a small group and she was really like going into the mine. And I think the price was actually the same as the main tourist trap, basically. So yeah, if you do your research, go the extra mile, I think you can get really bang for the buck there. And the 7th tip kind of goes with the extra mile as well, which is avoid main tourist areas. Like the price difference can be huge, really. Like you don't want to eat at a restaurant at the main square of like Prague or the center of Krakow, like we've done, even though that those places are actually quite cheap. But if you do the same thing maybe in London or Paris, prices can be super high. Really, like just go 2 blocks out of the center. Also, for staying somewhere, you can better stay a little bit out of the center instead of like right in the middle of it. A main exception to this rule could be hostels, because hostels are already really cheap. You can get some good deals even like close to the city center. So yeah, really, again, just go the extra mile, do your research, and avoid main touristy areas because yeah, they are expensive. And then the 8th and last tip, go bicycle touring, guys, really. No, the tip is really like, try different ways of transportation. Don't fly to all the places that you want to go to. Maybe you can do one flight to one place and then travel around on a bike, by train, something like that, to save money and then fly back home from a different location. But again, you can also try to maybe do a vacation in your own area and do a bike tour there, you know? Like for me, I'm in Holland and the border is like maybe 1 hour or 2 hours by car. I'm in Belgium, for example, and I can have a totally different experience there. And if you guys are from the US, like you get so many different like landscapes and national parks. Maybe you haven't really explored like all of them, and maybe there's one nearby that you've never gone to. Maybe you should go there for a weekend or something like that. And you can have the experience of a lifetime without first like having to buy like this expensive flight ticket to go to the other side of the planet, like I am doing. Yeah, I'm going to Australia soon, so. But it's a one-way ticket, and my plan is, and this is kind of insane, but I've been thinking of making my way back to Europe cycling. So flying there, and then I cannot return to Holland. Of course, in emergencies I can, but then trying to make my way back on the bike. That'll be kind of cool, right? That'll be really cool. Anyhow, I hope those tips will help you on your future travels. I will also list the tips in the description down below for reference, so you can make a note, put it on your wall, look at it every day, and then implement it in your life in some ways. I don't know. Whatever you want to do. Soon I'll be heading off to Australia. New adventures await, and I'm really looking forward to it. So anyways, thanks for watching this video. Please like it if you liked it. Please leave a comment down below. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.